The world is a book, and those that do not travel have only read one page. St. Augustine wrote those words. Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and my family. I'm a gypsy, a nomad. I like to travel. I like to meet new people. I like to learn new customs. I like to try new food. I like to learn new landmarks. Diversity is something that I hunger for. I think I've always been that way. I think I've been born that way. I like to try as much as possible to walk in the shoes of others. When I was 23 years old, I had the opportunity to move to Spain with my airman husband. We were given the option of living on the base or living on the economy. Well, that was a no-brainer for this mother of two babies who did not speak Spanish, and I made my intentions very, very clear. Absolutely, without a doubt, we will live on the economy. My husband was a little bit surprised. We rented an apartment in Alcalá de Henares. We were about 15 minutes from the base, and we were about 40 minutes from Madrid. Every morning he got up, took the car, and left me alone with two babies to fend for myself. And by golly, that's just exactly the way I wanted it. I put those babies in my double stroller. I grabbed my purse, I grabbed my Spanish-American dictionary, and off I went to explore. And very quickly I familiarized myself with the neighborhood, and I made friends with the neighbors. I became a señora. I was speaking Spanish. I became a pseudo-Spaniard. We stayed in Spain for 5 years. Kristen and her twin were born in Spain. And I can honestly say that there was not one single morning that I didn't wake up thinking I was absolutely the luckiest girl in the world because I had an adventure every single day. Living in Spain enriched me in ways far too numerous to account tonight, but it also ruined me. I can no longer be a tourist. It's not possible. G.K. Chesterton said, "A traveler sees what he sees. A tourist sees what he went there to see." Ladies and gentlemen, I by far prefer being the traveler. I want to see what's waiting for me. I want to be surprised. I want to be charmed. I want to be enriched. I want to learn. I want to grow. I want to know more about myself by learning more about the people and the places that I happen upon. James Baldwin said that in Europe he met many people and he even encountered himself. I can echo the words of James Baldwin. Last year, my nephew had the joy of becoming one of the prime performers in the Broadway production of West Side Story. And so I had to go. Well, I was a solo traveler. I had no one to go with me. I had an extremely limited budget, and I knew just about nothing about New York City. And I can tell you that's exactly the way I like to travel. So I began to do my research. I've learned over the years, because I have grandchildren that are scattered across the nation, I've learned that airlines overbook. And when they overbook, they ask people to volunteer to take a later flight. Well, I have learned to jump up and be one of the first volunteers, because when you do that, they put you up in a hotel, they give you a food voucher, and they generally give you a round-trip ticket, or maybe two. Oftentimes I've gotten 2 tickets. I had a round-trip ticket, so that paid my way to New York City. I then started researching and looking for places to stay. Lodging is exorbitant in New York City. I started talking to friends and searching on the internet, and I found a place called the Leo House. The Leo House is owned by the Catholic Church, operated by the Sisters of St. Agnes. It's over 100 years old, and it came into existence because it was a place of respite for German Catholic immigrants 100 years ago. It has continued, and it now provides safe, basic lodging for anyone. And so I called the Leo House, and I got a room for one for $95 a night. Unbelievable in New York City. Located on the subway and only a mile south of Broadway. So I was set. I then started looking for restaurants. What was I going to eat when I was in New York City? I've heard the food is very expensive. So I Googled, and I Googled cheap restaurants, best cheap restaurants, ethnic restaurants. I Googled this, I Googled that, and I made a list, and I had a list of restaurants. And then I looked for free things to do, and I Googled free things to do in New York City. I looked for activities, I looked for landmarks, I looked for parks. I found free writing classes offered by the Gotham Writing Workshop. I found free things to attend on a regular basis while I was there. It was amazing. So I had this huge list. And then I found 4 walking tours that some man had put up. He divided Manhattan into 4 quadrants. And he very specifically gave a walking tour for each quadrant. I printed that out and I took that with me. I love the theater. So I researched Broadway shows. While I was there, I wanted to see more than West Side Story. So by the time I got ready to go, I had done quite a bit of research. And this is the trip that I put together. I flew on a free ticket. When I landed at LaGuardia Airport, because I had researched the subway system really, really well, for $39 I bought a subway ticket that paid for all subways and all city buses. I walked out of LaGuardia Airport, got on a city bus, took the city bus to the subway station in Queens, got on the subway and took it into Manhattan. When I got off the subway, I looked up and there was a vitamin shop. How did I know there'd be a vitamin shop? Because I had used Google Earth. I put the address of my hotel in, and with my mouse, I just scooted around. I had walked up and down the neighborhoods that I was going to be staying in before I even got there. So that was the trip that I put together. The food that I ate, I spent very little. Everything I had was good. Every single thing. I went to out-of-the-way places and everything was good, but the prime thing was $1.25 for a sesame pancake in Chinatown. I went back for that twice. All in all, I spent $400 on Broadway shows, and I spent under $1,500, including Broadway, for my entire trip. I was a New Yorker. For 7 days and 8 nights, I was a New Yorker. Thank you.
All right.